Shalom to Israel and all the elect Gentiles. This is Yashar from Long Beach, California, from the God Was Manifest in the Flesh Church once again. And what I'm about to do is go over part one, as you can see on YouTube, part one, the true breakdown of John 1 and 1 by LEXICONOFGMS, which is this particular brother is speaking as Arayalam, okay? Brothers out of New York, out of UPK, who formed their own group called GMS, the Great Millstone. So what I'm about to do, once again, is go over how they corrupt the breakdown of John 1 and 1. This is a heresy in which they're teaching, in which not only them, but a lot of Israelite groups was taught this originally about John 1 and 1, about the angels being part of being partakers of creating. Okay, the angels were creators alongside with Yahweh Shai. So it was Most High Yahweh Shai. It was the Most High, the Father, gave the order to his son Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai, who was Jesus Christ, gave the order to the angels, and the angels started creating. Okay, everything from from Genesis 1 and 1 all the way through the sixth day. Okay, so what I'm about to do is prove that that's a lie. It's not true. That this is a heresy. This is a Gnostic heresy, and what they're teaching is Gnosticism and not the scriptures, and not the scriptures, and they're not teaching Yahweh Shai and its trueness. Okay, so once again, this is Yashar from Long Beach, California. Okay, and so let's start the video. Okay, and let's prove it, and let's disprove what they're saying. Okay. 1 minute here.
Female, hunt. So those are possessive adjectives. All right. So now, to get into the main crux of this lesson, which is the true breakdown of John 1 and 1. Before we go into this, let's go and let's bring it up and let's read it. Now, this is John 1 and 1. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, if you read it verbatim like that, most people don't understand what this really means. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Greek and into the Hebrew, both of them, to break this down. All right, for the Greek.
So let me stop right there, because what you're saying is that he goes into the Greek first, because it's the New Testament. John chapter 1 verse 1, St. John chapter 1 verse 1, so he has to go into the Greek. So in the Greek and that he's used in the New Testament is the Textus Receptus. Okay, now the Textus Receptus that he's using is the same one, I believe, if I can just go to it, not right now, but I have to go to it in the Blue Letter Bible, but it's the same one that the King James translators use. So that's good. He's on point with that. Textus Receptus, the Greek word meaning the received text. And this is the same one that the King James translators use to translate the New Testament from Greek into English. Okay? So now it says John 1 and 1, in the beginning. Now let's start right there for right now, in the beginning. Okay? Because we have to establish one thing, in the beginning. Before you have a beginning, or before you start a beginning, you have to have the subject who's beginning, or who started the beginning, or who's creating. Okay, so who are the subjects that's doing or beginning the beginning? Okay, and that's the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Remember, the beginning, like it says in Genesis, right here, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. This is the King James Version. Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay? So, when you have a beginning, you got to have the subjects or the persons who's creating or to start the beginning. Okay, you got to have the source of the beginning. You can't build a building and the people are not there to build it. The people start the beginning of that building. So just like the creation, okay, you can't have a creation and the people not exist, or the persons or the subjects don't exist to start the creation or start the beginning or start it. Okay, so you have to have someone there. And for there, I want to from there I want to go to this right here. It says, "Do angels exist in space and time?" by Jason Dole, and you can reach him at jasondole@yahoo.com. Okay. Question: Since angels are immaterial beings, meaning they're spirit, do they exist in space and time? And the answer: yes. Angels do exist in space and time, meaning angels existed when creation started to begin. When creation began. When creation began, angels are a creation of the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit. So were they there before the beginning? No. So let's read on. Yes, angels do exist in space and time. So when the creation in Genesis 1:1 started, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay. Before that started, there was no angels that existed. Okay. When the Most High created in the beginning the heaven and the earth, the universe and the elements, okay, in heaven, before that was created, angels did not exist. Okay. It said, yes, angels do exist in space and time. So when Genesis 1:1 started, once again, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That was the start of time. That was the start of time, and that was the start of days, and that was the start of creation. So since angels are immaterial beings, do they exist in space and time? Yes. Angels do exist in space and time. Immateriality, does not preclude spatiality or temporality. In fact, these angels are finite, spiritual substances that must be spatial, temporal, and temporal. Let me explain. Everything that is finite is by definition contingent on something else for its existence, such as angels. If angels were created, they're contingent on something else for their existence, okay, which is the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Therefore, i.e. means therefore, it requires a cause, which is the first cause of creation, which is the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Most High. That which requires a cause must have a beginning, okay? And that which has a finite spiritual substance also need a place to dwell. Why? Because they do not have the option of being nowhere because they exist, nor the option of being everywhere. And then it says, because they are not omnipresent, okay? Meaning they don't exist everywhere. They can't be present at one time everywhere. Okay. They must be somewhere at any given point, which requires space. Okay. It is for these reasons I am persuaded angels were created subsequent to Genesis 1:1, which was the beginning of time and space. So according to Jason Dole, that is his understanding of Genesis 1:1 and John 1:1, which is a true understanding. Okay, angels could not have existed before Genesis 1:1 because they're a creation. Okay, so if they're a creation, they couldn't have existed before creation. Okay, they couldn't have existed before time began. And the angels couldn't have existed before time or days began. Why? Because They are a part of creation. They exist in time, in days. When time began, that's when angels existed, because they're part of time, days. They're part of space. They're part of immaterial that was created, meaning the invisible. They are a part of that. They're not a part of before days existed, before time existed. In other words, eternity. Before Genesis 1 and 1, angels could not be a part of that because they are created. That is the main point. They are created. Angels are a part of creation. So let me go to the next one.